besties, it's been a while since I have done a haul on this channel. In the 5 months since I have done a book haul, I've collected 50 books. That's right, 50 books that I need to haul and show you guys. So I've kind of split this up into categories. I've done my best here to kind of make this make sense. The first category that we're going to start off with is the Outlander series. Now I own pretty much all the books in this series. I am trying to collect good copies of some, so I was able to find 2. So the first one I got is An Echo in the Bone, and I don't know in what order this goes into series, but I know that this one is kind of later on in the book series. And then the next one I got was Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone, and I know this is the last book that was released in the series. I'm far behind in this series. I think there might be 2 books that I'm missing, so I'm excited to have these in my collection, and I want to get the other 2 so that I could finish the collection and then start rereading this series. Then the next category is simply Brandon Sanderson. The first one is, and I'm going to butcher the title if I don't read it, The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. I have already read this book and I gave it 3 stars. I just like these copies of the books. I know that this is being sold by Dragonsteel, which is I think the company that Brandon Sanderson started. This book has some nice illustrations within it. Here's one that doesn't entirely give away the plot of the book, but these are such nice books and I'm really glad to have this in my possession even though I only gave it 3 stars. The next one I have is The Sunlit Man, and I have not opened this one yet, so let's go ahead and do that together. It comes with this nice sticker. Then there is a nice pin in it. There's also a really nice bookmark as well. And then let's get to the book. Oop, here's a nice sticker. Ooh, okay, here's the book. It's still in its plastic wrapping, so let me get rid of that. Okay, this one is even nicer than The Frugal Wizards, guys. It has black sprayed edges. The back is very beautiful, and the front is also really beautiful. Ooh, look at those end pages. Oop, look at that. This one also has really nice illustrations. I'm really glad that Brandon Sanderson did this where he published it all on his own. I gave this book 4 stars, so this is one that I've also already read. The next category is simply Jennifer Hartman. Now, I already own copies of this book, but the first one I hauled is Lotus. I already own a copy of Lotus, a paperback copy of it, but I love this book so much that I wanted a different cover of it. And then the next 2 Jennifer Hartman books that I have, I'm so glad to own. The first one is Still Beating, and this is the Mystic Box edition. Yeah, this was quite expensive, but I had to have it, and it has gold foiling on the edges. And then we have Lotus. This one's also had sprayed edges. It's also very beautiful. I'm so glad to own this because I absolutely love Lotus and Still Beating. They're one of my favorite books of all time. I'm so happy that I have these special editions. I just realized that I wasn't telling you guys kind of the synopsis or the plot of these books, so I'm gonna attempt as I go, but like I said, we have 50 books to haul, so what are we gonna do? The next book I have is Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson. This is a sapphic horror story. It's very short, as you can tell. It's a little over 200 pages, and I gave this one 4 stars. Next one is Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. What I know about this book is that it is supposed to be kind of, not a retelling, but it's based off of Ted Bundy's murders and that victim, but mostly focusing on the victims and the women that he killed. True crime is not really a genre that I'm into these days, but I've heard some really great reviews about this, so I'm excited to pick this up and read it. These next 2 books I think are more of like the horror thriller genre, and that would be Good Girls by Christina Henry. What I know about this is that there's 3 stories that are being told by the 3 different narrators, or focus on 3 different people. It is a horror story or a thriller, so I'm excited to see what this is about. The next one I picked up is Dead of Winter, and I picked this up purely because of the title and of the cover. It's kind of giving No Exit vibes. I don't know what this is about, but it's kind of giving Lost in the Woods during wintertime, and that is what attracted me to picking this one up. The next category is sci-fi. I read Project Hail Mary at the very beginning of the year, and I gave that one 5 stars. And then I read The Martian years ago, and that was also a 5-star book for me. So I'm curious to see if this is also going to be a 5-star book. I know this one's not getting great reviews on Goodreads, but I feel like if this is good, it might cement Andy Weir as one of my favorite authors of all time. Next 2 books are by Lyndon A. Lewis, and this is First Sister and Second Rebel. I don't know anything about these series at all, but I know that it's really popular, and I was seeing it around YouTube a lot. So I decided to purchase the first 2 books in the series. I think the 3rd one recently came out, but I would like to see if I like these books before purchasing the 3rd one, so we'll see. The next genre is simply Heartstopper. I have all 5 of the books in the Heartstopper series, and I love, 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 love this series. It is 5 stars. It's one of my favorite graphic novels of all time. I'm so happy to own the entire series of this. This is something that I am going to reread now and again because it's just so cozy, it's just so lovely, it's just so beautiful story, and I just want to stay in this space. And I'm gonna be really sad when the last book in the series comes out. I'm going to probably cry because, like I said, I love, love, love this series. Continuing along with graphic novels, I also purchased Saga the Compendium. Now this is quite heavy and quite hefty. I have read a bunch of the Saga issues separately, but when this compendium came out, I was like, you know what? Let's just buy the whole thing and give this a reread and see if I still like it. The next category is simply Veronica Spiegel, and that is, I have the first 2 books in the Veronica Spiegel series, Curious Beginning and A Perilous Undertaking. I've already read the first book and I'm excited to get to the second one. I gave the first one 5 stars. I love it so much. I'm excited to get to the rest of the series. I hope it's as good as the first one. I'm nervous though, so I've been putting off the second one for quite a while. Let's see. I hope this series continues to be as good as the first one. Oh, this is so heavy. The next category is romance, and I have a lot of books in this category. The first one being Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Now you might say this is not exactly a romance, this is a coming of age story, but there is a bit of a romance in it, and it is YA, yes, but I'm putting it under romance because I really love that relationship between Kath and Levi and the relationship between everybody in this book. I just love this book so much. I have already read it. I've read it twice, and it's a 5-star read for me, and I'm so happy to own the 10th anniversary special edition. The next one is A 7-Year Slip, which I'm being told that this is about a woman whose apartment is able to like go back in time, and she meets someone in the apartment and then they kind of grow apart and then they come together 7 years later and he's completely different. I'm excited to get to this one. I don't know when I will. It's more like a magical realism and that's kind of making me nervous, but I'm trying to get back into my romance era. Next one is Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. This is about 2 serial killers that fall in love. Need I say more? I don't think so. This is a silly goofy time. I give it 4 stars. This is, like I said, serial killer. So a lot of trigger warnings for murder and bloodiness and all that. Also a trigger warning for some very explicit sex scenes, consensual between our 2 serial killers that fall in love, but very, very explicit. Next book is The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. What I know about this is that the guy, I think he's famous and she is the bodyguard, and they strike up a fake dating romance. And then I purchased Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is a cowboy romance. It is the first book in the Chestnut Springs series of books. I really hope I like this because this book is hugely popular, but I don't know what this first book is about and what the romance is about other than it's a cowboy romance. I hope I like this, otherwise I feel like I might get canceled. The next book is You Again by Katie Goldbeck. This is a story about, I think, 2 people where it's the right person, wrong time. I'm excited to get to this one because this one is also getting really good reviews on Goodreads, and my girl Jana, if you're watching, I know that she loves this, so I really hope that I like it too. Then I picked up a copy of Ice Planet Barbarians. This is a special edition copy with these sprayed edges, and it is a signed edition by Ruby Dixon. I'm very excited that I own this copy of the book, and I actually just finished reading this book last night and I gave it 4 stars, and this is something that I would highly recommend. Please keep an eye out for a video that's going to come out in the next couple of weeks where you see me read this book. Next book I have is Sick Fox by Tilly Cole. I know this author is a bit controversial and this book itself is a bit taboo, and it is dark romance. I just know that it's about 2 kids that got separated when they were younger and then coming together to kind of find themselves. I just know that this one is very dark and it's kind of scary, but I am planning on reading this for a vlog coming up soon. The next book I got is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This book, you might be shocked, but I have never read it. This was assigned reading in high school, and unfortunately for me, I was not a big reader in high school, but I am now because I've never read this and I have never seen the movie adaptation with Keira Knightley. I know, shocking. I want to read this before I actually see the movie. Next book I got is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This is a hockey player, figure skater romance. I think these guys are in college. I have a specific video in mind for this book that you guys might not be expecting. So keep your eye out on this channel if you want to see me read this book. Then the next book I got is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is a vampire werewolf romance story. I don't know any more other than that. And I have also never read an Ali Hazelwood book, so this will be my first. I know that this is getting really good reviews on BookTube, and that's why I decided to purchase this. I'm not normally someone who purchases a book without knowing a lot about it, but this one I kept seeing a lot, so I decided, let's give it a chance. Let's try and see if we like Miss Ali Hazelwood's books. The next book I got is Crying in H Bar, and this one was kind of random. This is in the memoir category, and I don't have any other books to put in this category other than this. I have already read it, and unfortunately didn't really like it, so I'm considering maybe unhauling this one, but I just wanted to show you guys that I did buy it, and I did read it. The next book has actually no category, and when I was thinking about it, I don't know what category to put this book in because it is so odd, and that is Starter Villain by John Scalzi. This is the first John Scalzi book that I have ever read. Yes, I've already read it, and I think I gave it 4 stars. I really like this book, but it's kind of odd. So we have this guy whose uncle is a villain, and the uncle passes away and leaves his villain inheritance to his nephew. There are talking cats, talking dolphins. The story's kind of all over the place, but I really like it. Therefore, why it doesn't fit into a category. It's kind of on its own because it's kind of quirky. But I really like this book, and I wanted to have a copy of it. The next category is simply Miss S.T. Gibson. The first book I got is A Dowry of Blood, and this is the special edition of it with the sprayed edges. The naked cover of it is quite beautiful, and pages are pretty much the same. I think I might be keeping this without the cover on it, but the cover itself, the dust jacket, is actually also very beautiful. And this is one of my favorite books of all time, and I'm so happy to own this special edition of it. This story is about Dracula and his wives. It is a vampire polyamorous story, and the writing of this is just poetic. It's so beautiful. It's drop dead gorgeous, and I just love this book so much. The next S.T. Gibson book that I have is Education in Malice, and I could not tell you what this book is about. You could hold a gun to my head and ask me to tell you what this book is about, and I would not be able to. I just got it because it is Miss S.T. Gibson, and because I love A Dowry of Blood so much, I decided to pick this one up. Okay guys, only one more category left, but this category is actually the biggest category of all of them. Okay, so the first book that I got is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. This book is surrounding what I would describe as earthbenders, how they are controlled and kept down in this world, but other than that, I don't know what this is about. I know this is a highly popular series, and I want to pick it up. I know that this has been described as a book that will like kind of break your brain to understand the fantasy world of it all, but I'm excited to get to this. The next book is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies and Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands. I absolutely loved the first Emily Wilde's book, and I gave it 5 stars, and I'm hearing that the second book is even better than the first. I don't know how that could possibly be because the first book is pure perfection, so I'm excited to get to the second book at some point this year. The next book is Theft of Store by Michael J. Sullivan, and as you can see, I am tabbing it for a specific reason. There might be a sneaky video coming out soon-ish, but I've already read this book, and I gave it 5 stars when I initially read it, so I'm currently doing a reread of this book, and I'm really excited to share with you guys the video I'm planning on doing for this, so keep your eye out for that. The next book is Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. I have already read this, so this is a prequel to Legends of Lattes, where Viv is still an orc and she's still living that life, but she gets injured and therefore she has to like hunker down in this one town for a little bit where she becomes friends with this bookshop owner. It's still cozy, it's still cute, but I didn't like it as much as Legends of Lattes. I give this one 3 stars. Like, it's fine. I will be keeping this copy and I would recommend it to people, but it was just fine. Next book is Thorn Hedge by Miss T. Kingfisher. This book is very short. I'm pretty sure I could finish this in like a couple of hours or maybe even an hour. I don't know anything about this book. I bought it simply because it was T. Kingfisher, and I love T. Kingfisher, and that's why I got it. The next book I got is Iron Widow by Sharon J. Zhao. I'm mispronouncing that. I've already read this one. So this is set in this Asian-inspired world where we have people in the military, mainly the men, who drive these transformer-like machines, and they have to have women also be a passenger in that machine, and they use their like life source to power it. And this world is very much about the patriarchy, and we have our hero who's trying to take down the patriarchy. I gave this one 4 stars. I really liked it, and I would also recommend it. The next book I got is The Serpents and the Wings of the Night. That's a weird title. I don't know anything about this. I saw it at Target and it was 30% off, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it. I did see Sydney from Sid Bookworm read this as a part of, I think it was Reading BookTube's favorite books of the year, and this one was high up on the list and she really liked it, so I was like, you know what, let me give it a try. It is YA, but as you will have seen in my previous video, I am back in my YA era. I am loving YA right now, so let's just give this fantasy YA a chance. Next one I got is Ink Blood to Subscribe by Amber Torres. I have already read this book. I gave this one 4 stars. This book is about these sisters and their family and how they protect a library of magical books and the sneaky underlings of a different library that also has magical books. This one made me gasp out loud. This one made me feel for the sisters in this book. This one is just absolutely beautiful. I love this story. I would highly recommend it. No sticker? That is not a sticker. I hate that. But I love this book. We are getting to the end here. So the next one I got is Stars of Chaos Volume 2. I actually thought this was Volume 1 when I bought it, but it is Volume 2, so I need to go and purchase Volume 1. I don't know anything about this book. I bought it because I finished watching the entire Avatar, the live action. I love the animated series, and after I finished watching the live action, I went back and watched all 3 seasons of the animated series. And when I saw this at the store, the cover was giving Avatar, but I feel like it has nothing to do with Avatar: The Last Bender, or I don't even know if this is fantasy or not, so don't know anything about it. Excited to pick it up. We'll see where it goes. Next book I got is Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. I think this is an urban fantasy story about this girl and then her friend gets murdered, I think it is. I've been seeing this a lot on BookTube, which is why I picked it up, and I have not read an urban fantasy book in quite a while, so I don't even know if I still like that genre, so I'm gonna use this as a taste test to see if I'm still into urban fantasy. Next book I got is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I think this is a YA fantasy, and like I mentioned before, I'm back in my YA era, and I think this is the first book in that series. I have a commenter that is continuing to educate me on Brandon Sanderson's world, and please, if you are out there and watching this, please let me know if this is any good. The next book I got is A Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and this is set in the land of Fae. We are following 3 sisters who were stolen away into the land of Fae and their upbringing in that world. I gave this book 4 stars. I really liked it. The ending had me gagged for sure, so I will be continuing along with the series, and I'm so glad that I own a special edition copy of this book. And the last book that I got is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. This is a special edition that I believe just recently came out. Here is the cover. The back is kind of plain, but it has sprayed edges. But I really like this book. I have not read it, and I'm really excited to try to give middle grade a second chance. So we're going to start with this. I will be having a video coming out with this soon. So that is it. That's all 50 books that I have bought in the past 5 months. I know that was a lot. If there's anything that you saw here that you want me to read right away, please comment below. Also, please subscribe and like this video, and please comment. Next week, I will be doing a organize my bookshelf with me because I've bought so many books, they need to go on my bookshelf. And so stay tuned next week for that video. That's all I have for you guys today. I will check you guys in the next video coming out soon. Bye.